Welcome to another episode of Simon Says, where facts come first. We have a lot to talk about today, but before I do so, it's Cancer Month, and I want to wish all cancer patients a full recovery, and those who have survived, those who are in remission, continued great health. To their families, I want to pray for we want to pray for strength so that you can endure and you can support your loved ones throughout this their time with this disease. We thank God for his mercies and his blessings. We'll take a quick break and come right back.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
Welcome back. Today I want to start off with comments made by the notorious minister. I know you all know who the notorious minister is, right? Redhead. He was on a talk show program on Monday evening, Monday the 9th of October. And I wouldn't go through in much details because most of these I spoke about already. You can go back and look at the programs, the episodes that involve some of these, right? Because it's facts. When we come here on Simon Says, as we said, this is where facts comes first. So there's no doubting. I mean, this guy is a pathological liar. I would go further to say that he's a narcissist. Because with his arrogance, he's a narcissist. Now, just to say, fact, Miss McQueen loaned her car PAW 92 to Ron Redhead to assist in his 2022 election campaign. Fact, after the NDC success in the elections, June 23, and Ron Redhead's success at the polls, he offered to purchase the vehicle. She agreed, and an agreement was signed between both parties, Mr. Ron Redhead and Ms. McQueen, for the amount of $18,000, which she wanted for her vehicle. Fact, Minister Redhead promised to pay $5,000 at the end of August and the balance at the end of September. Fact, no payment was made. No payment was made. Fact, on February the 15th, 2023, Minister Ron Redhead and his advisor, the infamous Ian Django Thomas, sold Ms. McQueen's car, collected a check from the buyer of $10,000 in the name of Ron Redhead. Now, remember, the agreement was signed for $18,000. They sold the car, I would have to say out of desperation, for $10,000, money probably needed badly. I don't know why. Why would you sell a vehicle that was supposed to be sold for $18,000 for $10,000. Fishiness going on there, fishiness. With him, it's always fishiness. So they sold the car, they collected the check was deposited. Fact, Ms. McQueen got a call from the gentleman for her to transfer the vehicle to him because he bought it. At one point, Mr. Redhead said Ms. McQueen gave him the vehicle. If you give somebody a gift, if you give of a vehicle and it's on your name, then of course you have to transfer it to the person. So the vehicle should have been in Ron's name if it was given to him. So the gentleman called Ms. McQueen, and this is because he couldn't reach the two con men. He couldn't reach them. So he finally went to the glove compartment, got some information of the insurance certificate, and called the owner of the vehicle. That is when Miss McQueen knew that her car was sold. She didn't know what he was talking about. She questioned him. What are you speaking about? I didn't sell my car. My car wasn't sold. And then $10,000? No, that's not what's supposed to happen. Fact, after numerous calls to Ron, to no avail, the police was contacted. So after she got the news that the car was sold, and both her and the gentleman tried reaching them again, no avail, she suggested to the gentleman that he contact the police. After which, the Prime Minister intervened. So I guess with the whole police thing, maybe the police called, and that's just me thinking, the Prime Minister saying, well, look, one of your ministers. The Prime Minister intervened. Fact, on Monday, the 13th March, 2023, Ron Redhead showed up with $10,000, which Ms. McQueen was expecting because the Prime Minister promised that would happen. Ron Redhead showed up with $10,000 cash. She gave him his receipt. He went on his way. On Wednesday, the 15th of that same week, that's Wednesday, the 15th of March, 2023, Ron showed up with the balance, the $8,000 in cash. He was given his receipt. The $18,000 agreed upon was paid, that's EC dollars, was paid for the sale of the vehicle PAW92, and the vehicle was transferred to the gentleman. You decide. Now, this is Honorable Ron Redhead as he continued his interview on Monday, October the 19th. The 9th, I'm sorry. Monday, October the 9th. And here's a clip.
That day I came out, we were distributing school bags to various constituents. We were behind schedule. And as such, I went to drop one of the workers home who spent the entire day with me. And so I dropped him home, living up Wills. But there was a birthday party around a corner. So them guys flagged me down. And you know what it is. You can't drive in a constituency and see an activity happening, you ain't stopping and so that's a normal. So I stopped up there, we eat wild meat, bought some drinks for the guys, I got a bottle of water, and I headed off. When I headed off, now, the narrow roads in Willis is very difficult to articulate if you're not a good driver, and in some instances is prone for accidents, because years ago, you could have walk through Willis free once you know Mr. This gone, because maybe about 4 or 5 vehicles existed at the time, years ago. But times change. We now have new routes, Monkuma Road, all kind of areas people would pass it. So you have to always be careful. Traffic is always oncoming. So after I passed the shop, I think I took the two individuals that were there, you know, just hail them up and driving along. I mean, I was startled, and I know the bike men was startled. Young people, they're having fun, and I ain't vexed with them for that. They're racing. And as such, I had to be very careful because on the opposite side of me was a drain.
Right.
Deep drain. And it's either two things. Either I took the decision to go down alongside that drain and avoid everything altogether. And the threat was, if I took that decision, there were two young children, females, in fact, young girls, walking on that side of the road as well. So had I gone down there and would have had to dance and so on, that would have been a recipe for disaster. That van could have flipped all kinds of things. You never could have tell what could have happened.
Now, first of all the old talk about years ago is 4-vehicle in Willis had nothing to do with the story. The hampers, nothing to do with the story, just a detraction, right? And deceptiveness. He can't even look us in the eye when he's speaking. The birthday party where he only drank water, right? He took a bottle of water and left. Bought drinks for the guys, took a bottle of water and left, right? Good citizen, good citizen. And the two young ladies that was on the side of the road. But first of all, let's back up. First of all, there's a big gutter, big drain. And it was either he go down in the drain and mash up his vehicle or avoid everything else, right? So he rather hit the young guy on his, that was there on the ground with his bicycle than go down in the drain, right? How dare you? I'm not going to mash up my car to save your life. You understand? So, and then I brought this clip to you especially to the part about the two young girls that was walking on the side, which is of course to the left of his vehicle, that he didn't want to hit as well. He didn't want to go down in the drain. And then there was these two young ladies. Let's look at the clip of the accident again. And look closely, guys. Let's look for these two young ladies that was walking along the road. Did you see two young ladies walking the side of the road? I'm looking. I looked, I replayed, I looked. Where are the two young girls that was walking on the side of the road that he had to make a decision, either hit the two young ladies, go down in the drain, or hit the young man? That's what he said. You saw it, he said it, right? This guy is sick. He's a sick individual because you know what? He didn't have to speak about that again, you know. And the issue is, as I said before, it's not about who's wrong or right, really. It's about you trying to save somebody's life because it could have been worse. And if you have the opportunity to do so as a driver, then do so. But the first thing that bothered him was that big gutter that his vehicle could have gone down in and flip and all the crap about if the roads are narrow and winding, and if you have to be a good driver to drive in Willis, then I guess you're not a good driver, sir. But we know why. We know why, right? Folks, I cannot understand the reason for the lies. There's just no reason. We're still looking for the two girls, and you will have to click when you can go back and look at the episode several times, please. And anybody saw or come up with the two young girls, please message me, send me the clip where you see the two young girls, and we would come back on the program and apologize to the minister for not seeing the girls in the first instance. Listen to Minister Ron Redhead. Again, this time, he's speaking about his advisor.
I do only have one PS, and I do only have one advisor, Mr. Patrick Simmons. He is providing excellent counsel and guidance from a policy standpoint.
So we've heard him. He only have one advisor. Now, this thing always baffled me because the contracts for both advisors, former Minister Patrick Simmons and his Minister Ron's partner in crime, Ian Django Thomas, they came out together in social media. We saw them as advisors. Contract signed as an advisor, told the minister. Ever since that was exposed to the public, we only hearing about the advisor, Minister Patrick Simmons. He clearly stated there now, and for what reason I have no idea, he made it clear that he only have one advisor. But we have the contract with Ian Django Thomas signing on with the PS in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture as an advisor to the minister. But we could understand why it had to be hidden, because Django is no advisor. Django cannot advise Ron or anybody on anything for that matter. And so it was hidden. It wasn't supposed to come out. We also know that the ministry, the government of Grenada, is not paying Django's salary, and that the Grenada Lottery Authority is paying his salary. But they had to have a reason to pay. So he is the advisor on paper. But speaking to members of that ministry, workers in the ministry, he trips in, he trips out, he sits at the minister's desk when he's not there. So I asked, doesn't he have a desk? You guess the answer, right? So we wasn't supposed to know that Django was being paid $5,000 monthly to be Ron's advisor, because you see, that's payback. That's payback for working with Ron during the campaign, driving him around, and being a part of the Youth for Change. He chaired the meetings for the most part. That was payback. Job for the boys, what we call nepotism. Even though the boys can't do the job, or even though there's no reason for the boys and girls, let's not leave out the girls. Right? So he's hidden. He's the hidden advisor. But he's exposed, and we have the contract. That we are showing you. We have the contract. And as I am on contract, a question on Is It True, our Is It True segment a couple of weeks ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago, we asked, is it true about the gentleman, Jerry Eno, the living boyfriend of Minister Karine James, and him signing a contract with the Ministry of Agriculture? And we got no answer, of course, not that we expect to, but today I have in my possession his contract with the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands. And the agreement was made on August the 9th, 2023, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands. The engagement of the contract commenced on June the 1st, 2023 for a period of 1 year, but can be extended beyond upon a separate written agreement between the two parties, that is, Mr. Eno and the Ministry or the Government of Grenada, by extension, the Ministry of Agriculture. The government shall pay the contractor EC dollars, $61,200 per annum, which gives a monthly payment of $5,100 per month. I also have in my possession 3 other contracts. Three, let's see. You know what, kids, you should show me 3. Three more. An agreement between Philip Alexander and the government of Grenada, also represented by the Permanent Secretary in Agriculture, the 21st day of August 2023, to commence on April the 17th, 2023, for 2 years. The government shall pay the contractors EC dollars $79,200 per annum, a monthly payment of $6,600. That contract as well can be extended. Of course, you go back to the drawing board and you make you sign another agreement. Another one, Mr. Garvin Pear, Government of Grenada, a memorandum from the Permanent Secretary in the Department of Public Administration to the PS, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, and Cooperatives. The date, July 26, 2023. Subject, request for engagement recontract to service, also for 1 year, paid $68,400 annually, a monthly payment of $5,700. Big money. The government of Grenada, that's the third and final one. The government of Grenada, so we have 4, let's not forget Mr. Inu. The government of Grenada, a memorandum from the Permanent Secretary of the Department of Public Administration to the PS in the Ministry, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries, and Cooperatives, date September 2023, subject administrative clearance to facilitate payment of service fee. The DPA advises payment of service fee in the sum of $10,000 per month to Ms. Alicia C. Lawrence, legal consultant, Ministry of Agriculture, for the months of August and September 2023 only, pending the administrative process of her contract service. So everything not tied up yet, but she's being paid still for, September and October. She'll be paid $10,000 until everything tie up, put everything together. And the question is, don't we have a Ministry of Legal Affairs and an Attorney General's office? Why does the Ministry of Agriculture need a special legal service? According to Google, the Attorney General is legal advisor to each government department. The Ministry of Legal Affairs is to ensure that proper legal services are provided to the government. We have legal affairs and we have the Attorney General's office to deal with anything legal to do with the ministries or the government in general. Why does agriculture need to pay Ms. Lawrence $10,000 a month for legal services? If you can answer, help me. We'll take a quick break and come right back.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.
Welcome back. Now, those contracts are the ones we've been privy to, and some of the ones that was leaked on Facebook and so. Could you imagine that there might be many more of those in different ministries? But yes, I could imagine, because I understand that next Tuesday, on October the 17th, 2023, our representatives would be going to the Parliament requesting an increase in the cap on the wage bill from 9% to 13%. Now, we all know, yes, decades and counting, that we hear our wage bill is too huge, we have too much a big wage bill, we need to cut down on the wage bill. There was a time the New National Party had something, I think, what, 2 for 10 or 3 for 10, where they would, when somebody retire or leave the service, they were not going to be replaced, right? And so in an effort to cut down the bill, we had several of the international institutions, like the IMF, the World Bank, they all recommend that we cut our wage bill. This year government, my government, your government, would be going to ask to remove the cap on the wage bill from 9% to 13%. And we know the eyes always have it. There are other bills I hear they want to remove the cap on the government minister's salary as well. I don't think it's easy. If you don't think we had dictatorship. Well, in a matter of years, what was done in 20 years, can't compare in 1 year. In 1 year, right? So we could understand why the need to remove that cap on our wage bill, because with all these 10,000, 6,000, 5,007, 5,001, 5,003, 5,004, 6,000, 10,000, all these salaries, new salaries, jobs for the boys and girls. And the thing is, if we get in production, if we're getting our money's worth, we probably say, okay. And the problem is, the bigger problem is, the persons that's sitting in the chairs that needs these advisors and leads, it is obvious they cannot do the job. You only need one, you have 2, 3, 4. Well, agriculture fuller. What is the point of the minister and whoever advisors was there before? Because they had mentioned a couple before when they were leads and they turned into advisors, right? I think Ms. Dermot Bain Thomas was one, and there's a gentleman that used to work there and retired and they brought him back. I can't remember his surname now. I think he was brought back. I believe he was brought back as an advisor as well. So sometimes when you check out who the advisors are, they need advisors as well. So soon we might be having to pay for advisors to the advisor if that is not already happening. Right? There's another bill that will be tabled in that sitting. A bill seeking to amend the License Act, Cap 172, the Principal Act, to exempt all attorneys at law from the requirement to take out a professional license and pay a yearly license fee in respect of the provision of legal services. Now, every other profession must be licensed and pay a fee. And if this bill passes, it would be except the attorneys. I'm sure most of you would have heard the rare with the beauty industry, barbers, masseuse, makeup artists, hairdressers, and the fact that they have to pay now license fee and all other fees, and if they don't pay the fees, they would be jail time for 2.5 years or some drama. I could never get the correct figure from anyone or the correct procedure. It is so confusing. Everybody's saying something different. Nobody knows what's happening. They said if you don't have your certificate and you were certified before, and for some reason you had a flood, you lost you misplaced your certificates, they would send someone to assess you. I spoke to 2 or 3 of my colleagues, former colleagues, that and they said that they applied and saying to the NDC, I think is who you're supposed to report that to, that they lost their certificates and would like to be assessed. They're still waiting on to be assessed. And the assessed person is always busy, not assessing, but busy otherwise. And so they're supposed to be ready for November the 1st. We're almost halfway through October. The whole thing is so confusing. Everybody's so confused. They don't know what to do. They have to get insurance policies, liability insurance policies where, and it's not, the particular policy is not offered here on island. Most people heard of it in Barbados. Apparently it is extremely expensive, but the hairdressers making the little 2 pennies and the barbers and the little masseuse therapists, they have to pay their license fees, and we're asking for the lawyers, the attorneys, not to have to pay. These are the people who probably 99.99% of them are selling passports and making extra cash. I have no issue with it. And mind you, I have no issue with the licensing and the regulations or the regulating of the beauty industry. As a matter of fact, 30 years ago, when I was the president of the Hairdressing Association here on island, I tried my best to have that, to get that done. I went through the NNP, the NDC came, and nothing happened, and that's when I gave it all up. So it's been something that I was rooting for a long time, the regularization of the industry. So I have no issues with it, but it's how it's done. I have an issue with, right? Moving along. You know, from time to time we have, and for the most part, the politicians during their campaign, they use the youth and the young people. Oh, the youth, we need the youth on board, we need the youth at the table, we're going to do job creations for the youth, the youth, the youth, the youth. Here in Grenada, 65% of the voting population, as I understand it, are youth. During the last campaign, we heard here on island, we heard about the youth. We had Youth for Change, we had a youthful leader, we had other youthful members on the campaign and candidates, and it was a whole youth thing. Well, the elections came and went, and the youth went with it. Because what we hear and see is a lot of retired persons being placed in positions that the youth, in some cases, and I'm not saying all youth, but don't put almost all retirees in the position. Where are the youth? Where are the youths that we talked on, the strength of the youths that we won on? What happened to you? So I have a list here, and I smile because I remember when I did, the NDC had the program for the NDC, the radio program. I had a list of retirees from the NNP, an NNP list of retirees. So what good for the goose, good for the gander? Not so. So I have a list here, and we go to, and it reads Stephen Fletcher, Jerry Hopkins, Livingston Nelson, Christy Riggs Noel, Deborah St. Bernard, Faith Thompson, Judy Benoit, Richard Duncan, Patrick Simmons, Colin Gilchrist, Rodney George, Kenrick Fullerton, Kennedy Roberts, Vincent Roberts, Franca Bernadine, Gemma Bain Thomas, Aaron Moses, Leslie McQueen, Willan Thompson, Leo Cato, Decima Williams, Sylvester Quallis, Jerry Hopkins, Glenn Noel, Elwin McQuilkin, Randall Robinson, Ronnie Antwine, Raphael Joseph, William Batiste, Peters, Larry Barry, Frances Purcell, Henry Joseph. This is 33 so far. This is an open list, so you get updates as they go along. Now, these are the persons that I know of that are out there, right? As I said, they may be, and there is quite probably some in the back that we don't know of, because, as a matter of fact, all the boards and so have not been gazetted, so we don't have information on some of the persons, the directors who are on some of these boards. Then we have a short list of advisors, special envoys, and directors on boards. Now, this short list, they're not all retirees. We have some young ones on there. But I made up this list because I remember the Prime Minister asking for people to apply. And I also remember it was being said they had thousands. If my memory serves me right, and I stand corrected, at one point I got as much as 3,000. But I know there was 1,500 and up. I know that for a fact. And that list is a short list. And it's a recycled list. The names, you hear them as advisors, you hear them as special convoys, you hear them as directors, you hear them as chairpersons, and also as members of the national executive of the NDC in some cases. So I'm going to read that short list for you. It's Andrea St. Bernard, and Ms. St. Bernard, as we know, is treasurer of the NDC. She's advisor to the government. She's special envoy. That's an ambassadorial position. She is chairman of boards. She's director of boards. Same for the next person, Mr. Orlando Romain. He's the PRO of the NDC, and he's envoy, advisor, director, in charge of GIS, in charge of the creative desk, advisor to the Minister of Trade, I think it is, board of ICT, many things, Then we have Mr. Hugh Thomas, we have Rodney George. Some names came from the other list, the retiree list as well. Huh? Rodney George, we have Ms. Rolanda McQueen, we have Trevor St. Bernard, Patrick Simmons, Richard Duncan, Stephen Fletcher, Colin Gilchrist, Sylvester Quallis, Tessa Sincere, Vincent Roberts, Kennedy Roberts, Leslie Barry, Kenrick Fullerton, Monique Noel, Christy Riggs, Randall Robinson, William Batiste, Philip Alexander, Janice Leslie, Jerry Eno, Faith Thompson, and the list can go on. Well, no, this list kind of stays here, actually. This is the short list that I told you about. Now, as I said, some of these people have several responsibilities, as well as some of them have their private practices, their day jobs, their own businesses to look after, to take care of. And we wonder why we're not getting, what do you say, our money's worth. They're stretched thin. And in my opinion, as I said, the only way some of these people can perform at their best and give us our money's worth, and forget the money's worth, but to help our country develop, is if they went to heaven with the apostle Cheryl, and met Jesus as she did, and Jesus sent back angels to work with her. So if Jesus sent back angels to work with them, and the angels is who doing the work, as this apostle said, she's not doing anything, it's just the angels that baptizing, the angels that healing, the angels. So if these angels are helping some of these people perform and do their jobs, then we're in good setting. If not, this thing is stretched so thin for some of you. And I want to say, and I would add, greedy, some of you. The greed that is among you, grasp and grab it. Everything you just grab it. Give me, give me, give me. Give us with NDC. It's our turn now. Give us, give me, give me, give me. Grasp and grab it. You're just grabbing everything. With no performance. We can't see it. I mean, how much time do you need for us to see the performance? The minister of MIT said give only 2 years. He said give them 2 years. So we'll give only 2 years. We are a year and a half almost going into this thing. Right? So find out from the prophetess, Apostle Cheryl. Cheryl Barkley, Reed Barkley. I'll give you the full name. Find out from her how to take the trip to heaven and meet Jesus and then send back the angel. She said Jesus tall and he have a bob, length hairstyle, and he brown skin. Folks, this nepotism have to end somewhere. It has to end us. It has to, or else we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble already, but we wouldn't come out of the trouble. The job for the boys and the girls have to stop. Is a set of jack of all trades, master of none. Well, we spoke about the persecutory link last week. I mean, the thing is bothering people, messaging people like, what is this? What is this? It's NDC all the way. NDC all the way. So NDC people alone supposed to survive. Not according to the Prime Minister in several instances who mentioned. At one time he said, he don't have yellow blood, he don't believe in tribalism, everybody's supposed to get a piece of the pie. I have a clip here with him speaking about inclusion.
To further demonstrate our commitment to put people at the center of our development agenda, this administration will introduce a social partners committee comprising representatives from government, labor unions, the private sector, churches, non-governmental organizations, and the youth to help steer government's policies going forward. This committee, chaired by the Prime Minister, will meet once quarterly to review current government initiatives and provide constructive feedback and suggestions for improvement from their respective organizations, thereby ensuring an inclusive approach to our shared development. Mr. Speaker, we do not pretend to have all the answers. This administration is committed to inclusive governance and welcomes innovative solutions from all citizens, especially our young people.
Our young people, especially. our young people. But the word there is inclusion. The operative word there is inclusion. Inclusion. Folks, we have roughly 30 statutory bodies on island. Each board averaging between 7 to 9 members, directors, whatever you want to call them, plus chairs, right? 7 to 9 members. Let's do the math. 30 by 9 is 270. 270. 30 by 7, 210. The amount of the amount of members here, I think it was somewhere like 30, 33. I think I got to for the boards and so the short list, 30, 33. Revolving. Revolving. When will it end? When will it end? I guess in what, 2027? 2027. To wrap up, I have some questions. And the first question, what is the holdup with the airport expansion project? And by that, I mean the passenger boarding bridges. We saw the convoy, they didn't let us miss it. When the material came on the port, and there was a convoy to the airport, and we were told transformation is here. One of the captions that I saw, transformation is here. And we were sure that was in May, I think, in May of 2023. That's what, 5 months ago? Yeah. It took up like quarter of the already limited space for parking at the airport of the parking lot. It's all stacked there, and we're still wondering what's going on there. The people wants to know what is happening with that project. It's not the NDC project to start with. It's a project that was well on the way. The bypass road, which is almost finished. The last time I passed, by now it's probably finished. It's part of the whole project, and it is, of course, an NNP project. What is the situation with the Molyneux Road project? It started for a few days. They interfere with what they were supposed to interfere with. They jumped down the mountain, and they say now they have to redo the plan because the first plan wasn't good. It wasn't proper. So they make a proper plan now. And engineers all over Grenada like this plan, this second plan, better than the first plan. But we have to bring in St. Lucians to do the work, yeah? But engineers all over Grenada like the plan. The second plan is the best plan. Remember, everything about this NDC is the best. They have the best material as well. So the project is at halt, and we've heard recently again the rise that because they went for monies for that to continue it in the supplementary budget, because of course they would need more money. They sent home the contractors from St. Lucia. They have to bring them back and their equipment, and then they have to, yes, they would need to change some of the plan because they have to secure the mountain now, right? The minister said, the minister of MIT said, they had piles they clearing. They cleared some already, and they have some more to clear. I don't understand why they couldn't clear all the piles at the same time. But they cleared some already, and they have some more to clear. And once they clear the piles, soon enough, the work will be on the way. But we had the Prime Minister speaking about this almost a year ago about this project. Let's hear what the Prime Minister has.
Speaker, the MIT ministry was able to successfully complete negotiations with the affected residents of Molyneux to accelerate the commencement of the critical Molyneux landslip rehabilitation project. Had there been no MIT, God knows where we would have been with the project.
They will not. Yes, no. They will not. God bless MIT. Without MIT, we know where this project would be. MIT he say he promised it will begin soon, and for the project that was supposed to come end in October is now January next year. But it didn't get back on the road yet, huh? We didn't get back on the road yet. Let's hear the Minister of MIT, man. The most popular politician in Grenada, for the most part, our acting Prime Minister.
So the redesign is finished, and part of the redesign had to do with adding more piles to the road. So the piles are on the port now. We cleared some already, and we are in the process of clearing the others. When the pile is when we have completed clearing the piles, then you can look at work being started on the road. But basically, we had to do that because, you know, if we had went with the first design, it would not have been proper. And we wanted to do a proper work on the Molyneux Road so that we do not have to go back there again, you know, to do anything. So right now we are confident that the engineers who redesigned the project did a proper job, and in my opinion, it's a better design than the first one.
Williams said the project will be completed in January 2024.
Engineers from all over Grenada to look at the plan to really give their view on it, and they were satisfied with the new design that we have. So we are aiming to complete the project in Molyneux in January coming. It costs a little more, but we think it's all for the better good of the project and the road. So MIT and the Ministry of Infrastructure met, and we decided to engage the residents. So in a week or two, we will be going out in the communities, talking to the people, and letting them know exactly what is the case with the Molyneux Road. But they can be rest assured that we are working speedily to ensure that the implementation is on time.
Talk. They're engaging the residents again. When they came in, the former administration didn't engage the residents. They engaged the residents. They have to engage residents again. All setback, all hold up because they ain't ready yet. So talk. We have to bring in we're going to engage the residents. The hill was coming down, the rotor spray up. It's all talk. All talk. January coming, more than one January coming. January 2024 coming, January 2025 coming, January 26 coming, and 27. We have a lot of Januaries coming, because this was supposed to happen in October, end up in October. Because the minutes, according to the Prime Minister, thank God for the Minister of MIT. If it wasn't for the MIT, that Molyneux project wasn't going on. Where is the project? What is the situation with the St. John's River project in River Road? Are we awaiting another flood? We have the stadium. We have things to happen at the stadium. We have cricket at the end of the year. We have, thank God we don't have next year when it's going to be raining. We have the Carifta games. I think they were lining up some of the invitational games. We can't afford to have the stadium flooded. And that area there at the end of the River Road is what's flooding now because the walls are not yet built. We had the Minister of MIT and Cindy Daughter, the representative for the St. George, been there early since they came in with their hard hats and their vests, jumping up on wall, jumping down on wall, from wall, watching the project. What happened to that project? I think money was in the supplementary budget for that project as well, from the leader of government business in the Senate. I heard spoke of it, right? What is going on with those projects? That's projects, as they would say, y'all met in the pipeline. Some of them was out of the pipeline, started. What's going on? With all of you and your advisors and what is going on? It's annoying now, man. You're fretting people. And only talk, and pause, and travel. Oh, the Minister of MIT is supposed to be in South Korea now. What's going on in South Korea? Mr. Ron didn't get what he went to make sure Ron get the buses or some other project. like the coconut project that's supposed to start, the 5,000 coconut trees left Mexico and Brazil. Several months now. I don't know what route it took, but it has not gotten here yet, because I called the ministry myself to find out if the coconuts are here. I would like to be a coconut farmer. Coconut and money, yes. No coconut yet. They tell me the only coconut that came is and we have to talk about that, you know. The GCNA brought in some coconut. I think they brought in theirs from Mexico because they're diversing into coconut. So I want to know what's going on with nutmeg, because that got that from agronomists of the ministry. The GCNA is now diversing into coconuts. And that's the coconut they know of. They don't know of the minister MIT's coconut, 5,000, and then I said another 10,000 was going to come after that. It looked like the machinery from India to do the added value on coconut is going to get here and settle before the coconut trees arrive and grow and bear. So the coconut trees you get in going to bear in 4 to 5 years. I know coconut does take 15 years to grow. I guess we have a special type coming from this island, which I do not deny. These days we're doing things, you know, technologically. And so we might have coconut in 3 to 5 years. That's if and when they get here, right? So where is the coconut plants, Mr. Minister? And we await the Indians. They were supposed to come in September, according to a post you made when you came back. But it's in October now. I guess you've been busy and you've been to New York and you know in South Korea. And so it got pushed back. But I heard you in New York in that town hall saying that the Indians called you and they said, Andy, it was 1 million US, it's now 2 million US. Thank you, Jesus. We're going to get a factory to do value added to a coconut. Folks, that's a wrap on today's episode of Simon Says. It's always a pleasure conversing with you. Keeping them honest. Thank you for joining this episode of Simon Says, where facts comes first. See you next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Simon Says. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and a like. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.